Today we're going to compare the iPhone SE versus the Pixel 4 XL. If you see my comparison with this iPhone with the Pixel 3a, I would assume it's going to be pretty similar. The picture or photo experience may be just a little bit better on the Pixel 4 XL. So this is the low light test with the front facing camera, and I'm standing in this spot specifically because there's a lot of light around me, so my face or the quality of the front facing camera should be pretty decent. For portrait mode, I do like the Pixel better. It does have a good contrast, whereas on iPhone SE, it seems to me like it's really faded. Also, the color of my shirt is not that red like on iPhone SE. It's really more closer to what the Pixel 4 is showing. For the back camera, it's obvious that the stock camera app does not have portrait mode, which is a really big shame unless it's a person. I do enjoy how the Pixel 4 does do its portrait mode. It's really easy. You point and shoot like any other regular camera. If the iPhone SE does have portrait mode, I feel like it's gonna recognize the object just like the 11, so that does take some time. Moving to everyday situations, it's obvious that the Pixel 4 will do a bit better just because it does have a telephoto lens. Please excuse the 16:9 aspect ratio on the Pixel 4 just because I do use it sometimes to take YouTube thumbnails. So I just forgot to switch it back. But anyways, moving back to the pictures, I do like the Pixel 4 better. It does have a slight sharper image, but I think that may have to do with the post-processing. And because it does have a telephoto lens, it does do a better job taking sharper images when you zoom in. Even if you're zooming in all the way in on the Pixel 4, I do find that the words or letters are pretty sharp. For the colors, I do like the Pixel 4 better as well, just because it slightly has a bit more contrast, so the pictures does stick out a little bit. Now, it's not super saturated like the Samsung phones, but it's just enough where it does give more pop. Now for low light pictures, whatever I said about the color, sharpness, and all of that, I think you will see the bigger difference here. Especially when you zoom in, it's such a clear winner that the Pixel 4 does a way better job. And even for the colors, on the iPhone SE, it does look like a lot of the colors become more of the grayish side, so it looks really dull. For the performance, they are both pretty smooth, so I have no issues taking pictures whether it's daytime or nighttime. Now I did do a comparison with the Pixel 3a and the iPhone SE, and the biggest difference between the Pixel 4 and the 3a is, of course, the performance and the telephoto lens. But if it's just strictly off of the camera quality, I feel like the 3a and the 4 are not too far off from each other. Next up is the night mode, which the iPhone SE does not have. But when I'm in the city taking these pictures or night mode pictures, it doesn't seem like it's that useful. Maybe if you're far away from the city in the suburbs where there are not a lot of lights from buildings and street lights, then yeah, maybe, but most of the time I don't think people would really use this mode. I just think the regular picture mode will do just fine even though if it's a low light situation. Now moving on to video in 4K 30, it seems to me like the stabilization is way better on the Pixel 4. The iPhone SE does have that natural handheld floaty movement if you do enjoy that. The colors on the iPhone does look a bit more of the greenish side, so it doesn't look as natural as the Pixel 4. Now I'm not sure if it's just my unit on the iPhone SE, but the focusing seems to be a bit too jerky. The budget iPhone SE can shoot up to 4K 60, which the flagship model, the Pixel 4, does not. So I switch it up to 1080p 60, so they're both 60 frames per second, and they're both are nicely stabilized. When I'm panning around, I do notice that the white balancing on the iPhone SE is more aggressive than the Pixel 4. So you will see a lot of color changes when you're looking around or panning around with the iPhone SE. Now moving on to low light, there are a couple things each phone does better than each other. On the iPhone SE, I feel like the shutter speed is pretty low, or it looks pretty choppy when things are moving too much or too fast. So the playback is smoother on the Pixel 4, especially when it gets darker. Now where the iPhone SE really excels is the highlights. When you're looking inside stores, you can actually see inside them, whereas on a lot of Androids, they tend to be really overexposed. And micro jitters. The iPhone SE seems like it does have a little bit less micro jitters, even though you will see some on both phones. So that is my comparison with the Pixel 4 and the iPhone SE. I know it's a budget versus flagship model, but let me know what you guys think. If you are interested in getting any of these items, I do have the links down below. Please follow me on Instagram, give a like, subscribe, hit the bell, and thanks for watching.